My name is Highsight, and this has been a great first year for Indie Insights. I've met a lot of great developers who have introduced me to some amazing games. I've seen over 150 games this year, and while unfinished, many of these games have struck a major chord with me. So I've decided to show off a few that I think are on the right path for development and are bound to be very big hits. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Indie Insights 2015. Coming in at number 10, The Rise of Dagon. Starting in 1990, Eye of the Beholder popularized the concept of a grid-based 3D dungeon crawler. It was filled with an ominous atmosphere, secrets, and deadly monsters. Outside of the Legend of Grimrock series, not much has been done with this genre lately. Luckily, Inferno Hawk Entertainment is working to fix this with their new take on the genre with The Rise of Dagon. While the gameplay side of things is still very much a work in progress, the developer has shown the ability to create an outstanding atmosphere through both visual and sound design. The last major accomplishment made for this game was the creation of a new quest system, which will allow the creator to create in-depth interactions between the player and the dungeon. The developer has even made this framework available for any developer who wishes to use it. There will be a link for that below. By Inferno Hawk's estimate, this game is about 60% done, though it still has a long way to go with little or no publishing work done on it yet. The developer will be opening it up to Kickstarter funding in 2016, so keep a close eye out for it if you're a fan of old school dungeon crawlers just like I am. Coming in at number 9 is Sky Arena. Speaking of genres that need more love, whatever happened to aerial combat games? Whether it be Descent or Star Fox 64, high-speed aerial combat games have always been a fun time for me. There's nothing quite like the feeling of sneaking up behind an enemy and blowing them out of the air. Lucky for us, Sky Arena is here to fill the void left behind by such classics. This highly stylized flight combat game features a series of unique Super Mario Galaxy-style planets, each with their own hazards and dangers. The entire game features tight controls, which provides an enjoyable and adrenaline-filled experience. Sky Arena is currently up on Steam Early Access, and the developers at Hammer Labs are constantly adding more features with every patch. The core gameplay is already exceptional, and both online and split-screen multiplayer is already there, so grab some friends and let the combat begin. Just don't get eaten by a giant worm. Coming in at number 8, Skyhook. You know, if there's one thing pirates of the 18th century got wrong, I'd say it was their lack of grappling hooks. That's why Skyhook is here to fix that little black mark on history. This 2D brawler takes a page out of Towerfall Ascension by creating a fast-paced multiplayer experience with one-hit kills. All players move around the map utilizing their grappling hooks as both their primary mode of transportation and major tools of death. The developer is also committed to streaming their development and listening to all feedback given by the community. As Nuclear Throne has taught us, a game that listens to its community is destined to be a great game indeed. Go check out Skyhook today on Steam Early Access and let the fur fly. Next up at number 7, Black Sea Odyssey. Try saying that 10 times fast. Roguelikes are becoming a hugely popular genre these days. One new studio, simply by the name of Team Black Sea Odyssey, are creating their own spin on the genre with Black Sea Odyssey, a top-down shooter roguelike with a Monster Hunter feel. Jumping into this game straight away, I was impressed by the overall polish it had in it. Menus were snappy, transitions were animated, movement was tight, and the graphical design was consistent. As often as I do it, it's never felt so satisfying to rip the heart out of a giant space beastie. Even being in its early alpha stage, this game already has a framework built around it that most games don't achieve by release. With the groundwork done, now it all comes down to the creation of more enemies and bosses to fight, more biomes to fight in, and more items to help you along the way. The developers have recently successfully finished their Kickstarter, and they're fully greenlit on Steam Greenlight. In the near future, you can expect to see this game out on Steam Early Access, so keep an eye out, Space Hunters. And at number 6, we have Role-Playing Game. When you think of rhythm games, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Rock Band? Guitar Hero? Audio Surf? Well, I'll bet it's not a ball rolling through a maze, picking up little bits of yellow with an ambient half-dub soundtrack controlling the environment, is it? Role-Playing Game, which evidently is not an RPG, is actually a beautiful Marble Madness-style rhythm game. The environment moves to the beat of the game's vivid background music, and you, being the little marbly ball that you are, have one simple objective: don't die. This game really worked for me. It combined a very beautiful video and audio aesthetic that you just don't see in a lot of games. Not to mention, each level introduces new mechanics, many of which interact with the level's music, creating a slightly different take on the mechanics each time. If you got a really fast song, you better expect to move very quick yourself, whereas a slower paced song might require you to be a little more patient. Just let the beat be your guide. There's a demo of this game currently available on itch.io. Go check it out and keep on rolling. And at number 5, we have Vertex. Take a large helping of Cave Story, add a dash of Trine, and what do you have? Apparently, the answer is Vertex by iMoose. This game is a sort of action RPG platformer with a big emphasis on its two main characters. At any time, you can switch between them and their two separate playstyles, offering the chance for some very interesting and unique puzzle and combat situations. Vertex has an outstanding pixel art style that would look right at home on the SNES, but it does a great job of keeping itself unique, creating a vibrant world. By the developer's reckoning, the game is about 70% complete, but they still have a long way to go. Despite that, I believe that if the developer can continue to produce the quality content that they've shown so far, we can expect this to become a very amazing game. The game features a fully fleshed out plot with many unique characters. Though some of the dialogue can be a little odd, I still think it's worth listening to the plot to understand the unique world that this game is set in. Keep a close eye on this one, because with the right amount of polish, it can be an action platformer classic. And at number 4, we have Jack the Reaper. Speaking of SNES-styled platformers, Jack the Reaper is an action platformer with its roots heavily inspired by Kirby 64. Much like Kirby, you can take the powers from some enemies and make them your own. To make it even more interesting, however, you can combine two powers, creating one unique new power. It's a brilliant system that I've sorely missed since the days of Kirby 64, so I'm happy to see it returning in a new game. The level design is awesome, and all of the graphics really come together to create a beautiful look. And the mechanics of the game are deeper than you might think at first glance. There are little things about each power that you might not realize at first, but add up to make one great experience. The developer has promised that this game will always be free for anyone who wants to play it, and there's a demo available right now. If you're a fan of Kirby games, then there's no excuse for you not to check out this game right now. Coming in at third, we have Portal Mortal. Now we're thinking with portals. 2D portals to be exact. Imagine if Super Meat Boy had a baby with Portal. Sure, it might look like a strange meat-covered robo baby of some sort, but that baby happens to be Portal Mortal, a 2D puzzle platformer by Ismo Litella. This game was love at first sight for me. The levels are on a perfect sliding scale of difficulty, the music is pumping, but most importantly, the controls are downright perfect. The character movement is tight and easy to pick up, making it simple for newcomers, but on a high difficulty cap. Just like Portal, you control the placement of two portals, which can be attached to most surfaces. You utilize the portals to A, not die, and B, make it to the end of the level. The best part is, the game has a built-in level editor, the same level editor used by the developer himself. Recently, the developer has even gone as far as to make the level editor a co-op experience. Ismo claims that the game is currently half done, and that there will be a new beta version out around the time that this video is released. Keep an eye out, folks. This is definitely one to have a ball with. Taking the silver, it's Wizard of Legend. At one point or another in life, I've always wanted to be a badass wizard. In fact, in most RPGs, I find myself gravitating towards magic whenever it's an option. And so to help feed my addiction to magical badasses, Contingent 99 has come along with Wizard of Legend, bringing a modern and sleek feel to spell slinging. The moment you pick up this game, you'll realize just how amazing this game feels to play. The movement is perfect, the spellcasting is quick, and the dodging is spot on. This game requires you to pay attention at all moments to everything going on around you and to utilize the perfect spell for the perfect opportunity. The more you play this game, the more you realize the game does an outstanding job of making you feel like you can take on an army, which is good because sometimes you will be. The developer claims the game is only about a third done, and when I played it, I only played about half of that. Even in such an early stage, the game oozes of potential and fun. I even find myself going back and playing the early demo sometimes just to pass the time. It's simple, but super effective, and I can't wait to see how the game progresses over time. Keep an eye out on this one, folks, because it's only gonna get better. Sadly, over 150 games is a lot to choose from when making a top 10 list, so I'd like to take this moment to put forward a few honorable mentions for you. Each one of these games really stood out for me in one way or another, and I highly recommend you check them out. And my number one Indie Insights game of 2015, Crosscode. Crosscode by Radical Fish Games is one of the most professionally produced games I've had the pleasure of checking out this past year. If you had told me this game was a new offering from Square Enix or even Nintendo, I would have believed you without even batting an eye. The level of polish on this game is astounding, and it all plays marvelously. I enjoyed this game so much that I even went on to back it on Indiegogo. And thanks to that, I've had the luck of checking out some of the beta work they've been doing so far. I can safely say that with every update, this game only continues to improve and amaze me. Crosscode is an action RPG that follows a mute avatar by the name of Leah in a large giant MMO playground which takes place on a real planet as she attempts to uncover the memory of who she is. With each update, the game is shaped more and more into a full-fledged action RPG. Crosscode has an astounding amount of visual fidelity, and the movement of the main character is fluid through and through. The combat feels solid and devastating all at the same time. I have no doubt in my mind that Radical Fish Games is working on a game that will be a hit for quite some time to come, and I wish them all the luck in the world making it happen. And that's it for 2015 and the first year of Indie Insights, folks. To all those who have submitted games to me, thank you so much for the opportunity, and I hope that my feedback has helped you in some way. For any new developers watching, please consider submitting to Indie Insights, where you can get free live feedback from me and my audience. Thanks for all the support, and I hope to see you all in 2016. This is Highsight, signing off.